Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, this is part two of a two-part series, and I'm here with Rashad to my right. How you doing? How you doing? We brought him back,
Good.
and of course we here with the AV tech guy Raymundo. Woo, 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 woo. Tony Ann is not here for this segment as well, so it's totally fine. I think she was like in Mexico, I believe, right?
So I'm gonna represent for her.
Yeah, I already know Tony Ann be cold. I don't know why she always be cold, but she be cold. All right. So we got off talking about the benefits and the challenges of taking that background role. Now we're going to talk about taking the foreground role. Now, what is something that you have learned about being a leader now that's different from how you have seen it back in the day? So, like, for instance, one aspect that I've seen, what most men will do is like their main job is to work, come home, work, come home, work, come home, and that's basically it. No interaction with the kids, no interaction with the wife, barely. Not saying there was none, but barely.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm starting to see like there's a new wave. Like, nah, I could work and still be with my kids. I can work and still go on dates with my wife. Granted, I might be half tired, but like we was talking about the last segment, it was talking about the will to do is more than you want. So as leaders of our own household, when it's come to like taking that foreground work, what is some new tools that you've been implementing or something that you have seen differently in the past that you're now doing now?
So because of the position that I currently hold, I learned a lot of things about leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
And prioritization is key, right? Um, we use this term called rocks, pebbles, and sand,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, if you had a if you had a jar, you need to get all that in the jar. Well, what do you put in first, right? Meaning, what's the most important thing to make sure everything gets in that jar, make sure everything fits, right?
Got you.
So, if you put the sand in first, you're not going to be able to get the
The
rocks and
rocks,
the pebbles in, right? So, put the rocks in, put the pebbles,
then put the
then you
sand.
put the sand, and you get everything in the jar. So, when you talk about going to work, coming home, spending time with your kids, spending time with your wife, prioritization. Every day, there's going to be something that's going to play the rock and something that's going to play the sand. The most important thing to keep your family structure together is make sure you identify those particular things on different days, right? Saturday, I tell you what, your wife better be the rock if you've been Monday through Friday with your job,
Hmm.
right? Um, and truth be told, your wife should come before your kids. A lot of people mess up with that, right? A lot of people, I remember it was told before me and my wife got married,
Your wife comes before.
your wife comes before because when the kids are gone, guess what? You left with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And if you fracture that relationship when the kids are gone, it's just you, right? So wife, spouse, husband, however you want to phrase it, wife or husband, comes first, then it's the kids. And that's why I say identify what's the rocks, what's the pebbles, and what's the sand. So that's the one thing I learned now that I absolutely did not know before and was never even mentioned or told about.
Mm.
Understanding the prioritization of the family structure and your work structure.
I like how you said like the spouse comes before the kids. That's something that I've learned just by looking at my parents in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because um I remember watching a segment, and this lady, I believe it was probably Ayana, I don't know, how Ayana Fix My Life, huh?
Yeah.
She was saying how like your husband got to come before your kids. And the lady was like, no, my kids come first. They need to be fed. She was just like, if I take your kids and give it to your grandmother, are they not going to get fed?
Mm.
If I take your kids and give it to the government, will not the government find them a place to go stay, and will they not be fed? But if I take your husband and give it to the government, who going to feed them?
Mm-hmm.
If I take your husband and give it to somebody else, who's going to nurture him? And when your kids grow up and find their own lives, what you're left with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I stepped into my marriage, I was like, my wife will always be first. I remember she even had one of her friends call me, and he was just like, yeah, he was thinking about like marrying his wife, his girlfriend. I don't know if he did. And he was just like, yo, how did you know that she was gonna be your wife? I was just like, because I chose her over the white picket fence. I chose her over the house and kids. I chose her because if those things never come,
Still got
she's
it.
still my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it comes to us, like we think of the white picket fence, the kids, the car, the dog. Of course, those are great fantasies, but they're only fantasies until they come true.
The one thing that is true.
Is that she's your wife.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if she could provide your kids or not, she's your wife. At the end of the day, if you have the white picket fence with a dog in the car and you don't have that, she's still your wife. So when you're talking about like, put your wife or put your spouse over your kids, yeah. Because if y'all strong, the kids seeing y'all being strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a psychological impact on them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. If it ain't fixed, get it fixed. Being a leader, or you have to see things and not just be passive about them, right? And once you see them, you start to you say, hey, we need to stop. We got to work on this, right? Because you see how it impacts the whole family unit. Because you guys are the core. I mean, right? You
Yeah, I
guys,
feel you.
father, mother is the core of the family. And if they're out of sync, if they're always arguing, the kids pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
They think it's normal, right? But if they always see a loving, nurturing, playful, in the home, they'll pick up on that too. I think, we talked about, you mentioned earlier about uh, how it would look back in the day, the traditional roles versus
Yeah.
now, where back in the days, it was more so of like a respectful dependency almost, right? Where the man went to work all day, right? Wife stayed at home, take care of the kids. Whether they were in love or not, right? They had the duty to do. She took care of the kids, made him a meal. It's fine. He can't take care of the kids because he's at work all day.
Yeah.
He's fine. In this day and age, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have men and women in the workforce, right? Both both earning. So it's like, okay, how do you balance the two? And perhaps both are managers, because
Mm-hmm.
that's when you become the manager, it's like it's taxing on both ends, right?
Facts.
So one thing that I've learned is to shut down, like, and I mean, sometimes it's tough because it's an operational role what I'm doing, but I have to say, listen, shut down, right? I've learned, okay, I'm not coming to church this Sunday.
Facts.
Okay. If you guys don't give me a deadline by X, Y, and Z, I'm not coming, right? And you have to learn to do that, because when I was working 2 jobs, I was like, man, what's the point? Like, you go home and all you do is tired. The kids want to play, and you're just looking at them like, I can't right now.
But one eye barely open.
I can't. Like, you want to, but you're not giving them your all, and then you fall out, you're sleeping, and they look at you like, oh, daddy's sleeping again. So you have to at that point, of course I went through a transition too, but during that transition of going from 2 jobs to being being a managerial role, that was taxing too. It was almost like working 2 jobs. And that was the point. I was like, okay, I gotta shut down. It's 5 o'clock. Unless it's something urgent, then I'll pick up the phone. So learn how to shut down is key.
I feel you on that one because I think we had this conversation before too, that we had to like give up some things because our wives didn't feel like they was getting our time. And it was to the point where it's just like, yo, what you mean you don't got my time? Like I'm
But
here.
Mm-hmm.
physically,
Right.
mentally, and
Right.
emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
But you saying that I'm not giving this marriage 100%, or I'm not putting this marriage first.
Mhm.
What do you mean? And I remember you was just like, man, it's just something that they say, but you also got to look in yourself like, what are you not doing? Because all you're seeing is what you're doing.
What are you not
And
doing?
I'm out here working this job. I'm out here bringing in this money. I'm out here, providing. I'm out here protecting. I'm out here doing all of this. Yeah, you're doing all of this, but you ain't doing the one thing I'm asking you to do, which is, can we just chill? Can we go on more dates? Can we just, probably have enough intimacy?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, that's what I'm not doing. And within finding that intimacy, you realize now you kind of have to sacrifice that job. That means less money.
Mhm.
She not really looking for the money. She looking for that intimacy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you have to sacrifice the job,
John.
right?
I'm not saying that you have to. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying like,
no. I, I'm gonna bring this home for you because you hit a lot there. What you see and what she sees, right?
mhm,
What you see is I'm getting up on time, getting to work, staying late, doing my job.
yeah,
What she sees is you doing all that, but you ain't giving me that same energy.
mm.
On the weekend, you talking about I'm tired. Babe, I heard you was tired during the week, but you got up, right?
Got that job.
You went to the job,
Got that
stayed late, right? Where's that for me, right?
Mm.
And intimacy, unfortunately, men and women have two different terms of intimacy.
Mhm.
Intimacy for us is the physicality,
Yeah.
right? Sexual nature, right? Intimacy for them is way more than that, right? Emotional, mental, everything with us is physical. They need intimacy from a different perspective. Take me out on a date. Shower me with the gift. So let me know that you see me and let me know that you're willing to put that same energy into me that I see you do Monday through Friday for your job. Because if you're not doing that, then what you're saying to me is you value your job
More than
more than you
value.
value me. Right? So it is something, and I'm not going to stand here and act like I didn't suffer with that. I didn't struggle with that, right? Um, I tell my wife all the time, like, yo, I just need a day of rest, right? I just need a day of rest. But if I get that day,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to give you whatever you need, right?
Facts.
But let me just get that chance to recharge. And there's days that she said to me, I know you're going to be tired. And I said, don't worry about me being tired. You need this.
I'm going to
If
do
I
it.
was able to do this for my job, I'm going to suck that tiredness up. And you want to go out tonight after work? We're going to go out tonight after work. I deal with that on another day, but I cannot give you the impression that I'm willing to do that for this and not do that for you, right? And then to your point where you said you got to shut down, dude, again, it's biblical. In Jesus' ministry, when he was doing the 3 years of ministry, how many times did he just leave the group?
Facts. Just say, all right, see y'all later.
I see y'all later.
He be like, yo, nah, don't know. Meet me in Tarshish.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be over here.
Jesus, you
I'll
gonna
be-
be healing today? Nope.
Nope.
I'm going up here.
Mm-hmm.
You need that.
Yeah.
You got to recharge to be able to go back at it 1,000% again, because that's us. We don't
Facts.
do anything halfway. We go 1,000%,
All or nothing.
all or nothing, and you're gonna burn out. So if you feel yourself start to do that, let me take a second for me. Tell your job. I had to take a second for me, right? Because they're gonna want you at your best as well,
Facts.
right? They know that, hey, you've been doing this, and we've seen what you are when you're 100%. So if you're telling me now you're gonna be coming to work 50%, hey, take a day.
Yeah.
That's true.
Take a day. I'm gonna
rather.
get more of you at 100% than I'm gonna get at the 50%, right? So I agree with you. Know when to say, let me pull back a minute so I can give you more, but don't take that time from your wife. Also show her, listen, I'm willing to put that same 1,000% with you that I'm with my job.
And I feel as though when you're able to give, because granted, yeah, It is expected for us to realize that point where it's just like it's time for us to pull back. But within the same breath, I feel like it's also part of the wife's job to notice.
Mhm.
Because once you're able to give that power to your wife, because I've told Janika many times over, if there's any Sunday that you just like, nah, I want some bet. Because sometimes I'm just so busy in the mode that you just in that mode or in that zone. But until the time where you just you see that flag, just like stop. You kind of need a break.
You're on autopilot.
Fact, you on autopilot.
You're on autopilot.
Stop. It's time for us to go out. Stop. When you're able to give your wife that power, and always in granted, I understand when you give that power, they don't always exercise that power. Sometimes I gotta be like, yo, exercise it. I gave it to you for a reason. Tell me when you want some time. Sometimes I'm not always gonna get it, but tell me when to stop it.
Right.
Let's sit down. Best believe my black ass gonna sit down because I've given you that power to be like, I need some time. I need for you to stop real quick because I see that you burning out, and I would love for you to just chill with me real quick. Go somewhere with me real quick. Like Cynthia was just like, yeah, I know you're gonna be tired, and you gave her that power. Like, don't worry about me being tired. Because now that gives her the power to be like, all right, let's go on then. So in that same breath, I feel like one traditional role that I'm not saying that our fathers or our parents have not done this, but it's very rare when you see a man give the woman the power to tell him to stop. It's very rare when you see a man being so willing to bend, mold himself for his wife. So many times you see a man, nah, I'm not giving in. Nah, I'm out here still trying to get this money. She crazy. We got bills to pay. Granted, that's all right, but that's not the best thing right now.
Right.
So when you're able to give it feels like when you're able to implore that power to be like, nah, tell me when you need me to be like, yo, babe, let's go. Your job at that moment is to be that backup. Like we said, be the, all right, no problem. A lot of men will call it simping. A lot of men will call it you being weak. A lot of men would be like, nah, man, you ain't no king. You don't understand. A king ain't nothing without his queen. And a queen ain't nothing without her king. And to be honest, a king and queen really don't really complain. Only princes and princesses complain without no work. But a king and queen would be able to see that complaint and then do something.
Right.
The same way how a queen could be like, nah, I need my king to come to me and not go to his round table, not take any meetings. No problem. You are imploring and you are empowering her to continually be that number one person in your life, because no matter what he does, I know at any time I could stop it. But if you have a proper queen, she will understand when the right time to stop it.
Yep.
And when the right time to be like, nah, go ahead, babe.
And that's the key right there, because you trust that they're not going to abuse the power. They're going to use the power, but not abuse the power, right? And a lot of times in a lot of relationships, they haven't built that trust factor to know that their significant other is not going to abuse that, But it takes time, man. It takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something you build, and it's situations that show that, yeah, this can be done. I can feel comfortable in giving you that authority, right? Giving you the authority over me, right? It's not just giving you the authority. I'm giving you the authority over me because sometimes I may not know what's best for me. And because I love you the way I love you, and I know how you love me, I know you're always going to want what's best for me, because what's best for me is going to be best for us. It goes back to, if I win, we win.
Facts.
Right? So when you have that one that you can trust, that they're going to have your back, that they really going to want the best for you, listen, take the reins, man. I have no problem paying the background right now because it gives me a chance to rest.
Facts. Here's the keys to the car.
Yes,
you drive.
by all means. By all means.
I can
still take us off a cliff.
I could be a passenger prince, put my feet up on the dashboard.
Right.
Look out the window. Oh, I never seen this building before.
This has been here the whole time.
The sunlight is this shiny?
Listen, when Kareem used to get in the car and drive, I used to click my feet together like, yeah.
Yay! Yeah,
Funny
yeah.
thing is when you hear they drive, it's like, I never knew it was this far. No, you never knew, huh?
Never
It's
knew.
amazing because you were sleeping the whole time. That's why.
Yeah, I don't understand when you can find yourself a partner, and I just don't want to only just put a woman, but on the man side too, that you know they have their best interests.
Life is easy.
Life becomes a tad bit more easier to deal with, a tad bit more easier to swallow, because it's like finally someone has my best interest besides my mother, besides my father, besides my sister. Because if your immediate family has your best interest, then that's the only person that you can go to right now. That's the only people that can be like, yo, what the hell you doing?
You know what's even crazier?
What?
When you realize your partner is going to hold you down more than your mom's. Like, yo, when I tell you, ooh, talking about being able to breathe underwater, like, because especially as boys, right?
Yeah.
We have a certain attachment to our moms. We think, like, nah, ain't nobody going to hold me down like moms.
Facts.
And then you meet that one.
That holds you down.
And it's
better.
like, oh, you acting like you 3 levels above my mom's. And you are? Listen.
Fact. And I don't understand when I love that, because if you have a mama's boy, that means depending on the man.
Right.
But naturally, if you have a mama's boy, that means the mother was good to the son.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that he has a role model of kind of how he shouldn't be treated. Now, granted, you do have some coddly men nowadays that really don't know the difference between a skillet and a pot. But we ain't gonna talk about that. But you have some moms that's like, nah, like my mother was like, I'm treating my son so he can be independent for himself. And it's to the point where when I got into the relationship, I'm like, I don't always got to be independent for myself. Oh,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's crazy.
It was like drinking a drink that you like. Why does it taste? It's like drinking water that has flavor in it. Why you don't taste like the bland water? Why you got strawberry passion fruit inside this flavoring?
It's funny that you say that, because my mom's literally said to me when I was younger, she taught me how to cook, taught me how to wash my clothes. And I'm like, why is she doing it? She said, because I don't want you to have to be dependent on no woman, right? You should be able to do for yourself. So here it is, I got with my wife, and you know, she went through complications. Now imagine if I was the dude who didn't know how to do anything, right? Now we struggling, right? We struggling because I'm so reliant on her. Now we in this situation. It's like, listen, take care of yourself. I got this, right? I'm gonna go ahead and cook up this food. I'm gonna go ahead and wash these clothes or whatever the case may be, till you're able to get better. And what do you think that did? That just made her feel more safe and secure, right? In what she had, because now she knows if anything happens,
he got my back.
He got my back, right?
What?
And she already showed me she got my back. So it's like, all right.
It's like you turn into a little Jeffrey. You're like, what would you like?
Whatever it is you like.
Facts. Like the other day, Janika was not feeling well, and I was just like, what you want? And she was just like, I think she said she wanted a well-balanced meal. And I was just like, well, what is in this well-balanced meal? She was like, I would like
what does
apples.
This consist of?
I would like eggs. I would like toast. I would like bacon. I was
Did
like,
she say it like that? Because you put the little extra
yeah.
on the
And I was like, sure.
Eggs.
And I was just like, well, I was like, would you like some cheesy eggs? Yeah.
You can put cheese on it, babe.
I was just like, would you like mozzarella? No. Can you put in the Mexican 3 blend? No problem.
Wow.
Can you put some strawberry jam on? I was like, no problem. And I'm on FaceTime with my friend, and she's just like, you really out here chefing it? I was just like, this is just breakfast. And she's like, what? I was just like, I have no problem doing breakfast, lunch, dinner. But it's to the point where, because I was raised to be independent, now that I'm depending on somebody, I have no problem always doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now I understand my independence is now taking out the end, and now I'm dependent on you. Mm-hmm. And now we're in this together.
Oh, good. Yeah, bars. Where the thing?
We need to get like a button.
Yeah, we're going to get a button.
Yeah.
Because now that the end now is not in front, is now at the behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're depending on it, now because you're depending on each other, now we in this together.
Mm-hmm.
So I know anytime I'm sick, I could be like, can I get a well-balanced lunch? Can I get a well balanced dinner?
It's
I
like,
don't
yeah,
know what that means,
hold
but
that card. Hold
I'm
it.
gonna hold
Hold
it.
it.
I'm gonna
Hold
hold
it.
it. uh,
It's partnership though, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speak on that.
Yeah. Couple years, I've heard different things on relationships. Some, some, some I could kind of understand. Some's like I don't agree with, but partnership in marriage, it is a partnership. I, it's a partner that you're gonna live the rest of your life with,
Facts.
and life can get rough. Life can have its ups and downs, but knowing that you have somebody by your side, right, that will hold you down, makes life feel much easier,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
right? You're able to more go out there and feel like you could
conquer the world.
conquer the world. Yeah,
So, what would be
yeah.
your definition, right? On a quote, heavy on the quote, on the air quotes, successful marriage. When it comes to like dealing with like, marriage, society, even when it even comes to ministry. Like, what is your idea of a successful marriage?
I kind of touched base on it earlier. I think both parties stepping in a space of sacrifice,
Mm,
right? If I'm willing to sacrifice for you and you're willing to sacrifice for me, it's we're both gonna be successful in that because we're both gonna want the best for each other. We're both gonna try to do the best for each other, right? No one is I don't want to say a taker, but both people willing to give themselves to each other is going to promote that success, right?
facts.
Um, even yeah, you said in ministry again, it's like it's about serving, right? My whole purpose is to serve you in this marriage and make sure that I'm doing the best I can each day to not be responsible for your happiness, but definitely not be responsible for your, you know what I'm saying, sadness or
Yeah,
despair, right? Try to add to your happiness,
but not add to
but I'm
that.
not going to add to anything that's, you know what I'm saying, bringing you down, anything like
Yeah.
that, right? So I have to be willing to sacrifice. And sometimes, in order to make you happy, I'm going to have to sacrifice something of myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I might have to sacrifice something I really want to do. I really like doing. But if in this moment,
mm,
right, you ain't you ain't there, I gotta put that on the back
facts.
burner. That don't matter to me. You matter to me. So that's why I say that right there to me is one of the I would say the nucleus of how to even start to have a successful marriage is sacrifice.
What about you, right?
You gotta stop going first.
I do apologize. You're going away first all the time now.
Ray's gonna go first for the rest of the segment.
Um, what is my idea on a successful marriage?
Yeah.
Being aware of where you are or what's happening around you,
Mm-hmm.
and whether using whether it's communication, um, whether it's learning when to take advice, right? Like, the typical, the traditional is that, the men, or that there's an idea out there that the men should make all the, no, you have to consult or communicate with your
Yeah.
wife,
Facts.
right? And although you're communicating, right, her offer advice, her advice, and let her have that space, allow that space. And it goes both ways too, where, as you said before, the willingness thing, right? Because that's something that I think everyone has to be willing to do something in a marriage
Mm-hmm.
versus wanting to do something. Um,
Ooh.
so it goes. it goes both ways because we all have our differences, right? And um, but our differences or struggles, how should I put it? We are equal in the level of our differences. It may not look the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we may treat it differently from how you may treat it,
Hmm.
but it's still as powerful to us as it is to the other person,
True.
right? Um, so I just think being aware of where you are in your marriage and or even as a family man, right? Because I think this is about leadership in the family too, right?
Yeah.
So knowing when to take the step back and say, all right, I'm gonna follow your advice today.
Yeah.
And as you said before, right? It may work, it may not work. Or maybe I won't follow that advice today. Then what does she do with that? Is she, is who does she take it to, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Based on growing up in church,
Yeah.
there's a structure. Take it to
Facts.
God, and then you pray, and hopefully, when you pray, God would,
Get right.
tell
Facts.
show him the right way. Because sometimes we could be in the moment, or
Hmm.
like we gotta get done rigid, gotta get done. That's how I am. Like aligning ducks in a row, it gotta be lined this way, and we're gonna knock them out. you
Yeah.
know. Um. So that's what I think would, or at least put you on the path to a successful marriage.
It's I don't want to cut you, but it's something he said that is huge. Giving them the space to
Facts. I was
give
gonna say that.
advice, right? That is that is so huge because, and I don't know if you're gonna go there, but they have to feel like they're equal,
Mhm.
right? Because we're talking about a partnership. So if you're just always giving advice and you don't open up the space for them to
Give advice.
give advice and receive the advice, without you realizing it, you're giving the perception that you're less than.
Mm.
In this marriage, I know we say we partners,
But
we're
you
not
ain't partners.
partners, right? You ain't equal, right? And I'm guilty of it,
Same here.
right? I'm
True.
guilty of
Me
it.
too.
Like I literally went through that with my wife. And when she expressed that to me, she's like, I always give you advice. This sounds crazy. And I'll be watching something like, oh, this guy said this about, nutrition. This is bad for you. And it's like,
I've been telling you that, bro.
but I've been telling you that for like the last 3 months,
Mm.
right? So you just don't value, right? What I'm saying, but
Facts.
because this person said it, and it's like, you make me feel when you do things like that, you make me feel like you don't think I'm either educated enough, right? You don't value my opinion. Now. I don't want to tell you nothing, and it's like now I done messed up to the point where this person who I know wants the best for me doesn't even want to communicate something that's best for me, right? Because I didn't give that space to say, "Hey, interject here.
Yeah.
Let me hear your thoughts." Right? Heard it, and I had to tell her like, and this was my bad. I had to tell her like, so at work, I do this, and that's because you told me that,
Yep.
but I never told you,
Exactly.
right?
And if you don't say it, then we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. I never told you that I'm using your advice and this is working. I'm sorry I didn't give you that space. I'm sorry I didn't tell you
Tell you.
that, not to say you were right, but man,
You was right.
you was right. So I don't know if you was gonna go there, but when
Yeah.
he said that, I was like, yo, that's
Because I feel like within a partnership, right? If I'm giving an advice or if she's giving advice and you don't act on it, then it's like you're pouring water into a plant that has a hole inside of it.
mm,
Nothing's gonna grow.
mm,
So as I'm always giving you advice, and as I'm always trying to dump, wisdom into you, and you don't act on it, you don't do nothing with it. Just like a plant that has a hole in the bottom of it and doesn't retain water is gonna die. And then when the plant starts to die, then it's just like, well, help me. Well, I've been telling you that you should probably do this. I've been telling you that you should probably do this. I've been warning you that it's like now you're right about the wrong things.
Right.
And I don't want to be right about the wrong things. I'd rather be right about the good things. And then also when you said like, now who are you giving this to? Now you hearing advice that your partner's giving to everybody else. And everybody else who's taking your partner's advice is out here coming up in this world. And then you over here getting jealous and you're just like, no. They've been telling you. You just have not been doing nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
You have not been acting on it. You have not been proactive about it. You have literally taken it in and did nothing. And now they don't want to tell you nothing, like you said. Now I don't even want to talk to you. Now when you see this problem, I'm just like, I don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you're going through this, like, I have something for you, but you didn't act on these 10 things I've been telling you. What makes you think I'm going to give you this one thing you're going to finally act on it? I'm not going to do nothing. And I feel like in this partnership, especially when it comes to the leadership role, it's like when it's time for us to act on things, now we expecting our partner to come in like a janitor and start cleaning it up. But they've been acting as though like they've been an engineer trying to make sure that whatever might go wrong don't go wrong. Mm-hmm. They've been acting like an auditor trying to make sure that the case files are in order, to make sure whatever is coming due is about to be due. They've been acting like a banker to make sure that the financials are good so you don't have to ever go broke. They've been acting like a boss so to make sure that employees are good to the point where they don't want to be none of that for you no more. And then as a leader, it's like it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like you don't trust me. You don't think this is best for me. I don't want to be right about the wrong things. And because we're talking about equalship, I think like when it comes to leader, both y'all leading.
Yeah. Just two separate styles of leading, but y'all both responsible for leading. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. And I'm gonna use this word. This is a very powerful word. Grace. Right?
I was about to touch on that.
Because although you may feel like I'm not going to say anything no more because this person is not listening to me, imagine if God said that.
That's why I said, like, Jesus loved the church is the hardest thing ever, bro. Yeah. Because Jesus loving the church is him always telling me, like, I've been telling you not to commit this sin over and over and over and over and over, and you still committing it. I'm gonna still tell you not to commit this sin.
Right. I'm still gonna be there, and I'm still gonna say it. Right.
It's a high bill.
It's hard.
It's a high bill. It's one of the bills that I don't want to pay.
Listen, man, it's a high calling.
What?
It's the highest form of submission.
Facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be Jesus, like he loved the church.
Oh my God.
And I'm sorry. For those who don't know what we're talking about, this is the bill that was given to the husband. Mm-hmm. It's the bill that has been given to the husband. Husband loves your wife as Jesus has loved the church. Mm-hmm. It's not wives love your, no, it's husband love your wife as though God has been loving you in all your dirtiness. So when you talk about grace, continue, bro, because
no, I mean that's the only thing you can lead on because this goes back to what I said earlier. You want to be right?
Oh, you want peace?
Oh, you want peace, right? Because let you know something's gonna go wrong, and you let them go through it, and it goes wrong. Try and say, but
I told you.
I told you so.
Oh, that's gonna be
what?
That's worse.
What?
That's worse.
So you want to live in your rightness right now?
Huh?
Right? Or you could have just said, "Hey, babe,
don't you try it?
Don't do that, right? Because this is gonna happen, right? Okay, right? This goes back to I keep telling you this over and over again, but you're not listening. Okay, but I'm gonna still keep telling you. It's my responsibility to still keep telling you. To still keep telling you, right? So Don't, boy, don't be right.
Yeah, we don't want to be right about the wrong things, but we would love to be right about like, yo, babe, you remember? Because I had to practice it too.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like when Janika gave me advice, I would act on it, but not really acknowledge that I have acted on
And I
it.
think that's the biggest
I
thing.
think it's the acknowledgement part.
Yeah.
That's also important. Because when you are able to be like, yo, babe, I did X, Y, and Z. I remember she told me, we had a guys' night. And she was just like, don't get into no trouble. Because I don't want to be visiting you in jail. I was like, bet. Trouble came our way. And I literally in my head was like, my wife said to not get into no trouble. So I ain't gonna punch this dude in his face. I'm gonna get into this car and drive. I came home and I was like, yo, babe, and I took your advice. She's like, what advice? I was like, I ain't punching no dude in the face because I felt like it. I came home because I don't want to go to jail. She's like, see, told you. And I was like, yes, you did. But that see, told you is different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Because I took the advice. I acknowledged that it worked for me. And I'm just like, yo, thank you for it.
And the reality is we take their advice a lot more than we let them know.
What?
We do. We do.
Oh, word? I need to hear this more often.
No, we do.
Yeah, we do. The thing
We
about
do.
it is that you will see it more than you hear it.
Yeah.
Because you will see it, and I'm talking to Karima, by the way. You will see it in their actions. You will see it in the not the process. You will see it in their progression. Because it's to the point where you're now looking at him and you're like, well, how the heck, time out. Why you look this way? Because I've been taking your advice. What? But it fails on us part because we don't let you know that we've been taking your advice.
Y'all voice has a permanent spot
in your heads.
in the back of our
Oh
brains,
my God.
right?
It
Facts,
does,
bro.
So many times you may be getting ready to do something and that voice
It's just in the
just
back of our
creeps
head.
up on you, right? And it's
Just
like,
oh, man.
yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yep.
Right? And then you don't do it. It's your advice. We don't do it, or we do it because it's your advice. But we just so caught up in everything that's going on. We're not coming home saying that, and I'm giving you credit for that because most times we're not coming home saying, "Hey, babe, by the way,
Yeah.
remember that thing you said? I did it, and it worked." Right? We're just like.
It's
In
like
the moment it happened, it was that voice. All right, then let me just go on to the next thing. Because we always got a million things that we're just always, like I said, we're going 1,000 miles an hour. We're always on charge. But a lot of times within that 1,000 miles an hour, there's that voice that corrects us,
Facts.
right? That
Portion
corrects
control,
us.
Khalid. You can't be eating that.
Mhm.
Khalid, you can't be having no 2-pound steak. Like, you about to like be waking up the next morning with bubble guts. Like, come on. Khalid, you can't be eating no milk. Every time I want to go get some milk for some real cereal, I'm just like, yeah, but Janika in my head telling me that if I drink real milk, I'm gonna have lactose intolerant. And
It's crazy.
And it's crazy, but
It's
guess what?
crazy.
It works.
It works. I'm in the store the other day. I'm going to get a juice, and I picked up the juice, and for no reason at all, but I understand the reason now. I looked at the ingredients. Like, I'm starting to read. I could barely see them, but I'm looking. There's all this stuff in it. It can't be good. Why am I even looking at this right now? Cynthia. Cynthia. If it got more than 2 or 3 ingredients in it, it's like, gotta put this back. You know what I mean? Let me go try to find something else. I'm going through every juice in there to finally come out with a bottle of water. Right?
Facts.
Which she says I should be drinking more water anyway. So, but I'm not. She's hearing it now. But I don't go home and say, hey, babe, you know what? I went through a whole list of juices in there and came out with water. No, because so much other stuff happened through the day. Let me tell you about my day, right? That's not a part of the day. So,
or even like the small aspect of just involving you within our decision making. Because sometimes I'll be stuck and I'll just be like, yo, you experience it. I'm about to ask you a decision if I should do this or if I should do that. And I'll be like, yo, do you think I should go get this or should I go get that? And you're just like, you're like, what? I'm like, no. What, should I get A or should I get B? And you're like, well, get B. And I'm like, okay. And you get B, and when your brain's just like, why you get B? Because my wife told me. It's like it's like a little kid who went to school because the teacher told me. Like, I got this because my wife told me. just by implementing those little things, it's just like, I hear you, but I don't only hear you, I see you.
Yeah, and that's the key. So all this got started with you
Facts,
saying,
right? So you going first for the
Yep,
next whole
there you
segment.
go.
Wow.
There you go.
At the moment, though, I need to insert this. So when I tell you to take a nap and you want to fight it, it's for your own good.
I don't nap during the day. That's just me, though.
Mhm.
The sun is up. It's like it's a battle.
I'll tell you what, the day you do it, that 15-minute power nap is going to be your greatest friend.
But yeah.
The power naps are your greatest friend.
Mm-hmm.
But
Look,
she told you first, don't take my advice.
Facts. So I like that way how we talked about communication. We also did talk about decision making, because it does take the decision for you to take a step back, be the background person. So how does that foster a supportive family? Because you two got kids. I don't got kids yet. And I realize that the work that we are doing now fosters or prepares us. So when the little ones do come, it's just like, nah, mom and dad did it this way.
Mhm.
Like, because one aspect that I love about my father is that he was always willing to put my mom's first. Whatever was last in the thing went to my mom. Whatever was going on went to my mom. No matter what, we could be like, but dad, we want it. No, it goes to your mom, to the point where now it's like, nah, babe, you can have it. But nah, babe, no, babe, it's for you. No, but I'll put you first, because I'm trying to foster a family that will always know I put y'all first above everything.
Mhm.
So how does all these things, as like communication, decision making, being able to take that back seat sometimes, how does that foster a supportive family for y'all? Because y'all do have kids. And Ray, since you said that you're not allowing Rashard to go first no more.
So we touched on communication and other areas as well, but to foster any family, both parties, even before I go into that, both parties has to understand or have a vision for the family, have a somewhere where they're headed to, and the vision, as I'm becoming more experienced, or it's not always a straight line. Sometimes it may go like this, and it may get discouraging when it goes to all the way to the right. Like, hey, we belong over here, and that's part of my learning process as well. It's not always going to be straight line, but to foster family, there has to be a vision and a structure, right? And right, so that presence has to be set by the parents of the home, right? And you also touched, as I said, as we touched on earlier too, how you treat each other in the home as well.
Facts.
Right? The way how I saw my father treat my mom, making sure she's taken care of, family's taken care of. Even if he's like, even if I have to take the shirt off my back, it doesn't matter. If this is the one shirt I gotta wear every day for you guys to have a roof over your head, this is a sacrifice I'm going to make. And seeing that too, right, has given me an like a goal, not really a goalpost, but has pointed me in a direction where, okay, I understand that as the leader of my home,
Facts. It
I
gives
have
you
to
like a
make that,
standard.
I have to stand it and make that sacrifice when it's needed, um, in a healthy way.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Rashad?
I mean, he kind of said it.
Oh, now you feel like Ray now.
Because and the way he said it is just factual. A lot of times we've been saying it all night. It's what you're products of what you see, not what you heard. You're products of what you saw, right? And I'm a firm believer that, especially kids, they catch more than you'll be able to teach, right?
That's true.
So if they see friction, that's what they're gonna accept. That's love, because they believe mommy loves daddy. And if there's friction in the household, there's yelling and there's arguing, oh, well, that's what love looks like. So when I'm with my boyfriend or girlfriend later on, I got to yell at them, right? I got to be aggressive with them because that's what I saw mommy and daddy doing. And they loved each other, right? So you just got to be mindful to give them the proper visual of what you want that vision to be for them to grow up, to model the right behaviors. So once my daughter gets fully of age to fully start understanding things better, Valentine's Day, my wife gets flowers.
You get flowers.
My daughter gets flowers, right? So you see, this is what you should be expecting. Same way I'm treating your mom, the same way when you're of age, this is what you expect. If anybody's coming in less than that, you already know what it is, right? You already know what it is. So making sure that you're putting the right visual in their heads at a very young age of what you guys
Facts
are seeing, right?
I like how you said vision, because in order for you to have a vision, you and your partner gotta have the same vision. And like when you was talking about like talking in my family, right? We have an issue right now. We settling it right now, but my wife does not work that way. So now we have a point where it's just like, all right, I got no problem waiting, but at the same time, I can't wait too long. Like 2-3 days, sure. 4 days, Jesus Christ. 5 days, Lord help me. A whole week, all right. What the hell is going on?
Right.
But it's to the point where now, like we was talking about earlier, compromising, giving up, willing. I'm not willing to wait 7 days, but I'm willing to wait 3. You're not willing to talk within 3 hours, but you may be willing to talk within 3 days. Bet. Now the vision has changed. Because granted, what I saw, like you said, growing up, as soon as we had an issue, we hashed it out right then and there. But now that vision cannot happen in this family. Because in this family, when I mean this family, me and hers, the vision now is 3 days. Give me up to 3 days and I could talk to you. And even if that means that I got to shut up and just take it in, and by the 4th day, I can give you what I got, no problem. But within 3 days, we got to talk, because now, not saying that it's always going to be 3 days, but now when the kids come in, it's just like, oh, mom and dad always had a healthy conversation about it. Mom and dad was able to now come to the table and talk about it. Granted, it may have taken some time, but we have seen, because even within that time of this 2-3 days, she is still checking on me. Even in that time, in the 2-3 days, we're still actively loving. It may not come with the hearts, with the goo goo gaga, with the gushy mushy. It's just coming by action. I remember one time I was just like, but you're not hugging me. You're not kissing me. She's like, but I cooked. I checked on you. That's just me still telling you I love you. And I was just like, yo, I respect that.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, man, I hope you don't miss this part. Yes, you want to wait the 3 days? No problem. But in those 3 days, I'm still your husband.
Facts.
You're still my wife.
Facts.
And I still gotta express love, right? It may not be
mushy gushy,
but babe, you hungry?
You want to eat?
You want to eat? I gotta make you some food.
Fact,
right?
It sounds so annoying. Like, you want to eat?
Right? Because
it's fact.
Because you still have to you made a commitment.
Yeah.
Right? The commitment wasn't for better or for better.
Better or worse.
It was for better or worse, right?
Sickness and health.
Sickness and health. You still have to hold up your end of the bargain, right? No matter, it ain't about how you feel. It's about what you committed to, right? That's the and if we going to go even further, because you kind of said it too, it's about the compromise, right? Calm with promise. You have to stay within your promise that you made when you guys got married. I promised that no matter what was going on, I was still going to be your loving husband, and you promised you was still going to be my loving wife, no matter how you may feel about me in that moment.
And it's just like that feeling part is hard. It's hard to get over. the reason why it's hard is because you're still trying to feel what you think that you should feel. No. What is best for this relationship right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand that you may feel some type of way, and this goes for both parties. I understand you may feel some type of way, but what are you willing to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when it comes to will, it doesn't have a lot of feelings in that, because will is just straight action.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to want, it has a bunch of feelings in that.
Yeah.
Because whatever you want to do right now comes from whatever you're feeling to do right now. But whatever you're willing to do says, I understand I may not feel the want, but I understand that the will is for me to do this because this is now a need,
Mm-hmm.
a necessity. Necessity is love. That's the necessity. Necessity is love, whether it comes from action, whether it comes from words, whether it comes from you hungry. It's behind that. It's like why is he doing that? Because he loves me. Why is she cooking? Because she loves me. Like Karima said, it may taste a little salty,
But yep.
but it's still coming to me in love.
And you know what's gonna end up happening? Watch how those 3 days start to dwindle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Those 3 days start to dwindle. And it's like, oh man, this guy been doing this. Hi.
Yeah.
Like Steve Urkel, I'm wearing you down. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you need that, man. Sometimes you need that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
like
I'm
that
glad,
best
I'm
round.
glad you got I'm glad you got there. You
Right.
still got to perform your duties as your husband or
Husband,
wife.
wife.
Still married at the end of the day.
I feel like it comes back to the what's right or what's best, because
Mhm.
what's right is that, yeah, your feelings are right. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that it's never right. Your feelings is right.
Mm-hmm.
Some feelings is not right because you could be delusional sometimes. But your feelings are right. But what's best right now? Best right now is to do all these little actions,
Mm-hmm.
because by the third day, we're going to feel a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then you'll see, I'm not saying it's about to be within a week, 6 months. It might even take like a good 2 years. But you start to see where your 3 days now has diminished to like 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just like, I can't stand to be like this. What's up?
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, I didn't expect this of you. Like I
Right.
said, it's like that new eye opener. It's just like, oh, I'm seeing you in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to wrap this up.
I want to say one
Greg,
last thing.
Go.
I don't know how this came up. I think I was picking at your father's brain one day,
Uh-huh.
and he said, you know, arguments in a relationship is natural, right? And your kids may see it, but the worst thing is to have the argument and not let them see how you resolve the argument. It's you know, of course, if the argument is just like crazy wild, you have to know when to like say, okay, I'm going separate ways, but
Mhm.
let them see that that they're able to resolve conflict
Facts.
in the home. So it's not necessarily bad to have it, but it's bad not to see them have you resolve it, right? Because they will never know how to resolve things in that moment, right? So as you said before, like you mentioned some tools that you use. Well, I need to wait 3 days, or compromise to see. Okay, let me wait the 3 days.
Yeah.
But I didn't. We didn't always see it growing up.
Oh, I can.
you know.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Arguments.
Ooh, he gonna say his famous line, and I know it.
No. I don't know the famous line, but when I
I can say it for you, bro.
What is it?
So one thing I have learned from Rashad, and to back you up, my parents, I've seen majority of the times, I can't say all the time, but majority of the times, granted they may have argued, but I have majority of the time seen them come back, and I have seen the process of them talking. And it's literally, my mom would be like where Rashad's at. And by the time the end of the conversation, they in each other's faces, just like, but honey, man, I like it when you do this. And my dad's just like, yeah, but yeah, I understand, but I don't like it when you've been. And she like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. You see, the tone changes. It goes from honey to honey. No, okay, no problem. It goes a higher pitch.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think that you have said that has kept with me was just that when you're arguing, you will be like, whoa, stop. What are we arguing about?
Mm-hmm.
Because what is infiltrating this relationship right now that's causing us to butt heads? You feel this way, I feel this way, understood. Let's stop it. Why do you feel this way? Well, I feel
Mhm.
this way because of X, Y, and Z. Oh, I didn't mean X, Y, and Z. I meant A, B, C, D.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I feel like X, Y, and Z said, no. I didn't mean that. I meant elemental P. Oh. And you realize that we're arguing due to misunderstanding?
Yes, misunderstanding.
We're arguing due to you not seeing where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Because
and that's a skill your kids will pick up on.
now when this happens again, oh, he don't mean it like that because the last time this is what we had an argument about, and I realized that, oh, elemental P means ABC. Oh, she don't mean to call me this. I realize elemental P mean XYZ. I just rhyming off the letters off the top of my head real quick. I don't know why, but yeah.
I'm glad you remembered that, man. Because it's kind of what I was gonna say, but that's it. There's a difference between arguments and disagreements, right? By human nature, we're gonna have disagreements, right? You were raised a certain way.
Mhm.
Your wife was raised a certain way. We're
Environment
not gonna
trauma.
agree on everything, right?
True.
That's just not natural. What you can't let happen is let disagreements turn into arguments where parties are not willing to bend, right?
Mm.
Because if you're going to stay rigid on your point, then when the argument starts is because both of you guys are saying, well, my way is right.
Mm.
My part of this disagreement, I'm right, right? No, well, I'm right. And that goes back to, hey, what are we really discussing here? Because it gets away from the problem, right? The disagreement is around this problem right here. When you start getting into the lane of I'm right, you're not right. Well, you're not right, I'm right. I totally forget about the problem.
Mm.
Somehow you got to get back to the problem that got y'all disagreeing and seeing, okay, well, let me understand your perspective on this problem. Let me see where you're coming from on this problem, right? Because I no longer can say my way is right on this problem because it doesn't matter. You're not going to receive my way is right.
Nope.
Right? But let me just see what you're seeing about this problem.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Well, a piece of that is what I feel. Okay, so let me extract my rightness out of this and let's deal with that piece because we can now agree on this piece and build from that to get peace.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't, and this is not to discredit your pops in any way, shape, or form. I just realized that arguments are not necessary, right? Because arguments push you further away. Acknowledging that there's a disagreement and then figuring out what the problem is that caused the disagreement can get y'all back together a lot quicker. It doesn't have to get to that. And then your children will learn it. It's okay for me to disagree with somebody instead of running to, we got, you know what I'm saying? I got to let you know that you're wrong. Going into the argument phase. So that's one thing I've definitely tried to get better at as my tenure with my wife is realizing when we're starting to get to an argument,
Your tenure.
I shut up.
Mm.
I shut up. I'm like, well, she does it now too. I start to realize that now. Like, we're getting ready to start arguing. You know what? It's not even worth it. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Let's just get off that. Let's get past that. Right? And then we'll come back and let's revisit that later. Like, so earlier, right?
Man, you call me a dog.
Right? Do you know what? Let me explain to you why I just want you to see my perspective real quick. Right? Oh, okay. But you said this. Okay. You know what? Then I was wrong for saying that. I was wrong for reacting that way. Right? Because I didn't see that.
Facts.
So that's on me. But we're not arguing. We're having a conversation now.
And it's not always going to look where it's going to be acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first it might be like, you going to tell me how you... It's just like humbling yourself. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get to the point where now I got to tell you a little bit of how I may feel, my hurt, I also have to also be accountable for how much I may have hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the accountability might be 3%, 2%, 90%, 10%, whatever the percentage is. It could be 0.001. Take accountability for it.
Yep.
Because in you taking accountability for it, it will humble the other person to be able to take accountability for their actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're both being accountable for how we have mishandled each other.
Mm-hmm.
So in that accountability, you're just like you said, well, I did this. Well, you have said this and it made me feel that. I shouldn't have never said that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to you, it may have been the best thing to say, but to her, it hurt. And you're just like, you know what? You're right.
So I'm like, you just said that to me. It wouldn't have hurt me, but it doesn't matter whether it would have hurt me. It hurt you.
Hurt her. Exactly.
It hurt you. And that wasn't my intent. So if I hurt you, I apologize for that.
Oh no, you said something about accountability, but I think we saved that for another time.
Yeah.
That's another topic.
Yeah, we're not about to have another topic. We're not about to have a part 3 to this.
Part 3.
Yo.
Nah. All right. So I'd like to wrap it up. You know how I like to wrap it up. So what page would you rip out of your book in this segment for both 1 and 2 to give to our page turners? And by the way, round of applause. Janika's the one who helped me out with the page turners. So
Janika.
So yeah.
Thank you.
You know, so yeah, what page would you rip out to get to our page turners? I'm going to Ray because you don't want Rashad to go. You said that.
You put that on yourself.
Facts, bro.
To summarize what I've said, and I said it earlier as well, is when you're going into a relationship is to communication,
Mm-hmm.
and to the willingness to learn to unlearn, like, right? And that just means it's not always your way. You don't know everything.
True.
It's a partnership. Try to hear the other person out, and it's a process. And that will be what I would give to our page turners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, he
I
took
should
it.
have went first. That was,
He took it away from you.
nah, he didn't take it away, but that was just so good. Just had one word. This guy he went up there and gave the speech of a lifetime. Sacrifice, man. Sacrifice is key to happiness. Being willing.
Mm-hmm.
Willing to let your will be higher than your want.
Mm.
And I'm stealing that from you.
Facts, you are.
Because that's gold, man. That's gold because that's the epitome of what sacrifice is. You want to be happy. Both of you guys need to be willing to sacrifice for each other, and happiness is just going to be inevitable.
Well, since Rashad took what I was gonna say,
Yes.
Well, not to make it biblical, but also make it practical and also biblical. Be of equal yoke. I think of when we think of yolk, we think of like the egg, and you know how it has the the white, and I've even doing research. You know how like farmers plow a yard.
Mm-hmm.
The oxen is wearing a yoke, is around their neck. You know how now the term of I'm gonna yoke you up.
Mm-hmm.
That means grab you by your collar. That's coming from that. And it's when they're having 2 bulls going. If a bull has a bad right foot and the other bull has the same bad right foot, they're going to go in the same direction and it's gonna go right.
Mm-hmm.
Where the goal is to go straight. So if you see that your partner has a bad right foot, make up for that and have a great left foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it comes with all the compromise and it comes with all the humbleness. It comes with all of that. It's just being of equal yoke so y'all both can go straight. Because if y'all both over here just thinking about y'all right foot, y'all gonna go right. If y'all all here just thinking about your left foot, y'all gonna go left. But if you can see that your partner has a bad right foot and you over here have a great left foot, y'all gonna go straight. Be of equal yoke, all right? And that will be wrapped up for our segments for today. This is Blank Pages After Dark. Yo, thank you, Rashad. Thank you, Rashad, for coming through. Thank you, thank you,
Sir.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me, man.
Facts,
Thank you for having
dropping these gems so we get to the treasure chest.
me. Hey. Hey.
Thank you, Karima, for coming. It's been a late night. Baby girl got work in the morning. Woo!
Audience, we got the audience. Love the audience.
Facts. Thank you, babe, for staying up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, because she definitely could have gone to the bed and just knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you want to watch us, we are on YouTube. We are on TikTok. We're on Instagram. If you want to listen to us, we are on Spotify. We're on Apple. And we are on, why did I forget? iHeartRadio. Have a good night. This is the first time I'm ever saying have a good night. And y'all probably might see it in the morning. But yeah, have a good night. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice. It's been nice. Thank you. Thank you to our page turners.